of coordinate geometry in your daily life. I'll give you one such example. Let's say this is your classroom in which students sit in these 5 rows, that is from row A to row E. And in each row, there are 4 benches. Now, if I have to find out the exact location of a student, how will I do that? I will need 2 things. First, I will need to find out which row that student sits in. Then, I will need to find out on which bench in that row that student sits on. So, let's say there is one student who sits in row number C and in this row on bench number 2. So, I can say that this is the exact location where that student is sitting. If I tell you to find out which student is sitting on bench number 3 in row number D, how will you find that out? You will go to row number D, then bench number 3, and then you can tell me which student is sitting on this bench. We use this exact system in coordinate geometry also. In coordinate geometry, we denote both these directions by numbers and not letters like I have written over here. Why? Because when we use letters, we can only use letters up to a limited number. However, if we denote this direction also by numbers, then we can go up to infinity in this direction also and in this direction also. Now that we have understood the system of coordinate geometry, let us learn some definitions. Now let us define some terms related to coordinate geometry. Whenever we have to find out the exact location of any point, we use the coordinate or Cartesian or XY plane which we have drawn over here. You can see that this has 2 lines, one horizontal and one vertical. The horizontal line is called x-axis and the vertical line is called y-axis. You can see that both these axes are number lines which we have placed perpendicular to one another and both of them meet at their zeros. This 0 point is called origin. This origin is a reference point which we use to find out the location of any point. You can also see that on the right side of origin we have positive values of x and we write x over here. On the left side of origin we have negative values of x and we write x dash over here. And above the origin we have positive values of y and we write y over here, and below the origin we have negative values of y and we write y dash over here. In any direction we can go up till infinite values. So whenever we go in the right direction, it is said that we are going in the positive x direction. Whenever we go in the left direction, it is said that we are going in the negative x direction. Similarly, whenever we move upward, we are said to be moving in positive y direction, and whenever we move downward, it is said that we are moving in the negative y direction. You can see over here that the x and y axis have divided the entire plane into 4 parts. Any point can lie in any of these 4 parts. These parts are called quadrants. This part is called the first quadrant. This one is called the second quadrant. This one is called the third quadrant. And this one is called the fourth quadrant. So if we have to find out the location of any point in this plane, we will need 2 things. We will need to know the x coordinate of that point and the y coordinate of that point. The x coordinate of any point is called abscissa and the y coordinate of any point is called ordinate. Let's take an example. If we have to plot a point whose coordinates are 2, 3, how will we do that? First of all, we will move in the x direction. Since our x coordinate is positive, that means we have to go in the right direction direction. That is, from here we will move 3 units in the upward direction, and then we will be able to reach our required point, that is 2, 3. In this case, we have moved 2 units to the right and 3 units upwards. This means that the distance of this point from the x-axis is 3 units and its distance from the y-axis is 2 units. You can clearly see over here. Let's take another example. If we have to plot a point whose coordinates are -1, -4. Now what we will do? First we will move in the negative x direction and move 1 unit. So we will come over here. After that we have to move 4 units in the negative y direction. That means from here we will move 4 units downwards and we will reach our required point, that is -1, -4. In this way we can plot any point in this plane. We just saw that the point 2, 3 is located in the first quadrant and -1, -4 is located in the third quadrant. So how can we find out that what kind of points will lie in what quadrants? Let's try to see that. So for any point to come in the first quadrant, it will need to have a positive x coordinate and a positive y coordinate. So all points in the first quadrant have positive x and positive y coordinates. Let's talk about the second quadrant. Over here, our x coordinate has to be negative and y coordinate has to be positive. That is, here all points will be of the form -x and +y. For any point to be located in the third quadrant, we will need negative x and we will need negative y also. And in the fourth quadrant, all points will have a positive x coordinate and a negative y coordinate.